मैं प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी आपको बताता हूँ जो आप भी अनविसाज नहीं कर सकते। आई एम नॉट ब्लेमिंग देम। पीडब्ल्यूडी खुद तो काम नहीं करती, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के थ्रू काम करती है। कॉन्ट्रैक्टर वही है जो बीआरटीएस की रैलिंग हटाने वाले लोग हैं, उन जैसे लोग होंगे, उनसे इनके रोज सरकारी डिस्प्यूट होंगे, वो फिर विड्रॉ करेगा। वो एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर को जो ये 6 किलोमीटर बनाने की बात कर रहे हैं वो 2.5 से 3 साल तक नहीं बनेगा। ये सर ये जमीनी हकीकत है। आई एम सॉरी मुझे बोलना पड़ रहा, बट हम अवेयर, आई एम बीन सीइंग इट फ्रॉम माय चाइल्डहुड इन दिस टाउन।
मिस्टर वर्मा, ये किसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस पे आप कह रहे हैं कि ये स्कीम के लिए अभी भी गवर्नमेंट इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहती है? आपको कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन?
मैं एग्जीक्यूटिव इंजीनियर सर 21 में इसका एग्रीमेंट हुआ था, 24 में अपॉइंटेड डेट जारी करके काम चालू भी हुआ था, बट कुछ सर्वे के इशू की वजह से स्थानीय प्रशासन द्वारा इसको रोका गया। 14 दिसंबर को माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने बोला कि बनेगा, इसमें काम स्टार्ट करें। तो सर हमारा प्रोसेस शुरू हो गया है, बस नेक्स्ट मंथ से हम इसको स्टार्ट कर देंगे। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी की अध्यक्षता में बैठक हुई थी 14 दिसंबर को, उसमें निर्देश मिले थे कि काम शुरू किया जाए।
तो ओवरऑल पिक्चर ये है कि ना तो एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर बनेगा, ना बीआरटीएस ये होगा, और हम पब्लिक को जितनी इनकन्वीनियंस हो सके उतने।
नमस्कार सर सबमिट करना चाहूंगा सर। इसमें सर एक्चुअली माननीय सीएम साहब ने सर निर्देश दिए हैं सर अभी 14 दिसंबर को, और सर इसका जो भी लेंथ है सर उसी लेंथ हम लोग बनाएंगे। इन्होंने फील्ड एनालिसिस कर ली है सर पूरी। बीआरटीएस का सर एक्चुअली ये जो बोलना चाहते थे कि एक तरफ अगर इनका वो बैरिकेड रहेगा सर तो उससे इनका काम करने में इनको सहूलियत रहेगी सर, तो वो ये रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे थे सर। और बाकी सर काम इनका नेक्स्ट मंथ में हम लोग शुरू करने की तैयारी कर चुके हैं सर। और अभी जब आपके निर्देश के बाद सर हम लोग ने एक बैठक भी करी कि कहाँ इनके पीयर्स आएंगे, बीआरटीएस में कैसे डिजाइन रहेगा। तो अभी यही तय हुआ सर कि जो डिवाइडर, चूंकि इनके स्कोप में भी डिवाइडर बनाना है, मीडियन डिवाइडर, तो अब ये इसको बनाएंगे सर और नेक्स्ट मंथ से काम शुरू हो जाएगा। इसके लिए हम लोग
मिस्टर वर्मा
सर
एंड मिस्टर छिते, ये तो इट अपीयर्स दैट इट विल टेक लॉन्ग टाइम। अभी तो एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर, unless this work is done, you will not be able to proceed with the corridor.
I did not intend to interrupt between what the submissions were made by the government officer. Not make apprise this honorable court of the actual reality on ground, Lord. Whatever they are saying largely is correct, but not completely correct, in the sense that in 2019, Lord, under a different government, and that I have uploaded for your lordship's perusal also on the ERP, Lord. In 2019, this decision was taken by the then government to construct this elevated corridor. Then Lord, rupees 5 crore were spent on soil testing and for designing of the elevated corridor. Now, we underwent a change of the government, and very sweetly this project was dropped from the year 2019 till 2024 January. Your Lordship Lord has that on your Lordship's ERP, Lord. This is nothing divorce the record. In January 2024, the present Honorable Chief Minister laid the foundation stone for this elevated corridor. Now, from January 24, the entire town was taken to believe that since it's the Honorable Chief Minister who himself is taking an interest in the construction of the elevated corridor, it was expected of all the government departments to come and construct the corridors, not wait till the matter comes to this cognizance of this Honorable Court, and this Honorable Court calls these officers and then puts a direct question to them so as to commence this work. So obviously the interest of the department in constructing the corridor is writ large, be it PWD, be it IDA, be it the DCP traffic or whatever it is, but there is absolutely no interest. One. Second submission, Lord, let us assume for a minute that considering the past record of the time taken to construct an elevated corridor, this is not likely to take less than 3 to 5 years. Not less than 3 to 5 years, could be more than that also. And let us assume for the sake of arguments and in 5 years time that elevated corridor is actually constructed. Within 6 to 8 months time, we will have such bad patchwork, we will have such bad condition of that elevated corridor. I'm again going by the record. Now 2 elevated corridors exist, one at the Kanalia circle, the other at the World Cup circle, wherein the entry, the ingress and egress of heavy vehicles has been stopped 4 days back because of the bad condition of that elevated corridor. Both are constructed by the IDA. It's not been more than 2 years, I'm open to correction, probably not even been 2 years. So these are 2 elevated corridors constructed after a huge UN cry and inaugurated with a fanfare that heavy vehicles entry has been stopped from last 7 days on these elevated corridor, considering the fact that it may just collapse in looking to the bad condition. So this is the light. Thirdly, I'm not at Rao. the elevated corridor which has been made, one side has been completely blocked because of the potholes in the elevated corridor. In the bridge which was being constructed, the entire traffic is left open to ply on the side of the road, which is every day creating a traffic jam. My friends appearing for the department would know what I'm saying is correct if they have them not vigilant enough to go there and verify this itself. So assuming that this actually takes place in 6 to 8 months time, Lord, this will all be absolutely redundant for the as far as the Indore town is concerned. Now, Lord, getting down to the necessity of not removing that one side of the railing of BRTS on account of the elevated corridor being taken out. They say that this provides some kind of a protection. But in a lot of towns, elevated corridors are made. None of the towns in the countries has a cordon off area for the construction of an elevated corridor. My learned friend, the learned collector and friends appearing for the department may verify. They don't need. In any case, one side is already open. So what possible protection can be granted by one side railing for the construction of the elevated corridor? Not this is with great respect nothing but attempts to circumvent the orders of this honorable court and somehow avoid the breaking of that one side of railing of the BRTS. Not secondly, every time this matter comes up before this honorable court, the state government comes up with an excuse that the contractor who's been given the job of removing this railing has withdrawn. But the question that I had to put to myself is either there is something fundamentally, and that's the reason your lordship has been pleased to call the contractor also last time. Either there is something fundamentally wrong with the contractors of Indore, which is not true because they are doing all other works, or there is something wrong with the department which is dealing with the contractor. How is it then? Why is it that every time the contractor comes forward, not my respectful submission, I'm sorry, just half a minute more. Not my respectful submission is, now they say that unless the central dividers are made, we don't want to remove that railing. This was their initial stand for last 2 months before this honorable court, till this new story of an elevated corridor came before this honorable court. When they saw the inclination of this honorable court, which was not taken in by their false statement of saying that we are not removing that railing because we are unable to construct the median between them, then they came up with the story of an elevated corridor. This is nothing more but trying to hoodwink this honorable court and finding some or the other excuse 2 months, 3 months down the line. After this elevated corridor, some new excuse will come before this honorable court for not removing that other side of the railing of the BRTS. And if you had the paraphernalia to construct a BRTS corridor, you obviously have the paraphernalia to remove one side also. And some part of it has already been removed. They said we don't have enough number of barricades in between to divide the road. But last time I suggested that let thick nylon colored ropes be put 1, 2, 3, 4, and people who are otherwise following the law will not be in any trouble. If I don't follow the law, if I try to run on the other side of the road, why are you protecting me in the first instance? The followers of law are suffering because of the apprehension we harbor for non-followers of law who would jump to the other side and meet with an accident. This is not the entire story with great respect.
Mr. Verma and Mr. Challenge. 2 things that one is BRTS removal, which is causing a lot of hindrance in movement of the traffic, etc. Other now this elevated corridor. Who are the highest authorities of the state who can resolve this problem? That how to, yes, because your whatever is that we know, policy decision, etc., is within your domain of the state, is the city. So we want that. Only we are concerned with this problem with the public, of the residents of the Indore in traffic, etc. This BRTS, now the another is still we find that the bus stops etc. are there. So some part of the, most of the what I find, about 80% one side of the barricades are removed.
Right. So if I
Yes,
can get out. सर लास्ट टाइम जो हियरिंग में डिस्कस हुआ था कि बस स्टॉप हमने एक साइड की रेलिंग मोरलेस हटा दी थी, सिर्फ वो पोर्शन बचे थे जहां हमारे बस स्टॉप थे.
Yes.
हमने सर कोर्ट में कहा था कि हम वो नेक्स्ट हियरिंग तक हटा देंगे. सर दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन. तो अराउंड 21 स्टॉप्स के नियर बाय जो रेलिंग,
जैसे अब एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर, उनका इंजीनियर्स का कहना है कि ये जो आपके बैरियर्स लगे हैं दूसरी साइड, ये दे विल बी यूज्ड फॉर द व्हेन एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर. अब एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर का तो अभी जैसा लग रहा है कि टू सम एक्सटेंट व्हाट इज बीइंग इन्फॉर्म्ड टू द कोर्ट दैट इट विल टेक लॉन्ग टाइम. Till then, what is the solution? That we are not in the public interest litigation, we are concerned with the public interest.
Right.
We are not concerned at all with the who had started this scheme, who had dropped, who had done this. It's not. We are only concerned with there should not be any inconvenience to the public, because under the name of this, but first construction of the corridor, then decision of the government to remove it, now decision of the elevated corridor. It's a lot of So even otherwise, you all are now knowing this, as cleanest city has already been by this incident, etc. So this is all is causing a lot of things concern to the public. So we want that who will take a decision, Mr. City, for this elevated corridor is to be constructed by PWD bridge. That is correct. So one department is PWD, other is department is
Corporation is.
urban administration and development. No, we want from the state because it's not at this level of the chief engineer. They would not be take any decision. Now it's a policy decision. Let them take a decision.
For that, what I'm submitting is decision has already been taken. I've called for the minutes of the decision that is not yet coming. They have just informed my lord that CM has himself conducted a meeting, my lord, and a decision has been taken, my lord. But I am not in a position yet because that minutes of the meeting is not in our hands, my lord. But what I'm proposing at this moment of time is, my lord.
So
Only one
tomorrow
short
one
submission,
letter we have kept,
my lord.
in which the chief secretary of the state will have it
Madam.
again in Bhagi.
My lord.
Prakula matter.
Madam, what I'm submitting before this honorable court is, Madam, we would be submitting the minutes of the meeting, Madam, and if at all this court comes to a conclusion that certain more steps needs to be taken, I am making sure that those steps will be
We are
taken.
not saying anything.
Madam,
Just tomorrow one matter is already there.
already.
Right.
It's a coordination between the department, Mr.
Right.
City.
Madam.
Because perhaps the district authorities would not be in a position to take any decision.
Madam,
If it's a policy matter, certainly it requires consideration at the
consideration
state
by
level.
the state level.
We are not concerned with anybody's decision opposed to any decision. You are the policy makers, you are the government, you have to take a decision.
Madam, so far
Whether
as
you
the-
want to construct elevated.
So far, the
corridor.
decision, Madam, it has to be taken by the state authorities. The execution has to be done by collector and IMC officers.
So,
Madam.
no,
So-
but in the what manner execution?
Madam.
Now the difficulty is that bridge section of the PWD says
Madam.
that corridor, that barriers can't be removed till this. So means that this problem will continue for years to
So
come.
my humble submission, sir. सर सर
Yes.
ये इनका नेक्स्ट मंथ से सर काम शुरू हो जाएगा इस पे सर, जो कि पूरा हो चुका है सर. इनके जो वेंडर ने मोबिलाइजेशन शुरू भी कर दिया है सर, उनको बता दिया गया है. तो नेक्स्ट मंथ में इनका काम उसका शुरू हो जाएगा सर. जो सर कंसर्न है सर माननीय कोर्ट का सर कि जब तक वो हमारा बैरिकेड एक तरफ चलता रहेगा सर, तो हम इनसे या तो ये कर सकते हैं सर कि जहां इनका काम शुरू होना है वहां हम होल्ड कर लें, बाकी जगह से रिमूव करके हम टेम्परेरी मीडियम बनाकर शुरू कर दें सर. तो उससे इनकन्वीनियंस भी खत्म हो जाएगा सर, और जहां जहां इनका काम शुरू होगा वहां पे हम लोग फिलहाल अभी थोड़ी देर के लिए इनके बैरिकेड होल्ड कर दें सर, तो इनका काम भी चलता रहेगा.
पॉइंट्स होंगे जो इस बीच में
ये मतलब 6 किलोमीटर का काम हो जाएगा. सर मेरा सबमिशन सर 6 किलोमीटर पे इनका एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर बनना है सर, और इनके 2 फ्रंट्स पे काम शुरू होंगे सर प्रारंभिक रूप से सर. तो हम उन 2 फ्रंट्स को छोड़ के सर, और बाकी 6 किलोमीटर के अलावा जो स्ट्रेच है सर, वहां पे हम लोग मतलब सेकंड साइड का
टोटल कितना है आपका लेंथ?
11.2
11.2 है.
और उसमें से 6 किलोमीटर का इनका आएगा स्ट्रेच. तो सर हम रिमेनिंग पार्ट पे सर हम एक तरफ से हटा के सर, जैसा मानिए कोर्ट
Because committee is there. Our only concern that find out with it is how to solve. We are not saying anything about this elevated corridor. It's for the government. This
Not completely.
It's for them. Only our concern is that it should not, this work of removal of barricades, smooth moving of traffic should not held up only because of elevated corridor. That is another dream project of the everywhere now.
सर
Very,
सर हम
My lord, two things can be done, my lord.
yes.
My lord, either, my lord, in every 15 days, my lord, we would be producing an updated report that what work we are doing, my lord. Or like a traffic regulatory committee, a committee may be formed by this court, my lord, for which हम यहाँ पे भी
टिपिकल गवर्नमेंट एटीट्यूड है चीजों का. अगर आप कमेटी बना दीजिए, वो इंक्वायरी करेगी, उसकी रिपोर्ट आएगी, वो पेपर
saying that in the course of this petition, I was trying
मोडस
to-
ऑपरेंडी वही है.
Willingly what is wrong?
Well, sir.
You are at the highest level. Take a decision. If your elevated corridor is also there, whatever your policy decision or whatever your projects, etc. But simultaneously, we are interested that the public should not face this inconvenience.
May I not
Not
repeat?
the difficulty, whatever. On the last date, I also. Now position is that with the removal of this, if a situation, emergency situation comes, ambulance, etc., fire brigade,
So my छोटा सा, if Lordship permits me to not repeat my submission, Lord, I am unaware of, and both the officers, 3 officers are here. Let them make one statement that anywhere else in the country there was a BRTS or a BRTS was ever made for ensuring the construction of an elevated corridor. ये जब जिस शहर में बना है वहाँ कहीं BRTS नहीं था. ये इंदौरी के BRTS की क्या आवश्यकता है एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर को बनाने की, क्या समस्या? यानी why is every experiment being carried on right from contaminated water to the construction of an elevated corridor with the aid of the BRTS here only? Why have this town being made a guinea pig in compared to the rest of the country? अगर एक भी शहर ऐसा बड़ा हो, नासिक का elevated corridor सब जितने खड़े हैं सबने देखा. No BRTS existed when throughout the town you have an elevated corridor crossing the entire town of Nasik. There are hundreds of other examples of all over the country. Lord. It is not required. Why do they need? Let them come up. We need this BRTS, call it all right. But why? The question is, do you actually need it? And one side is anyways open. How is it going to help you with the remaining of that strong railing? One side 11 kilometer railing. Your people are subjected every time. Lord, patchwork is being done on the road, construction is carried on the road. There is no corridoring of those persons. They water, the municipal corporation waters the trees which are kept in median of the road, which are planted in the median of the road. Is there a corridor? No. Every day, let me finish. Every day there is a patchwork. You shouldn't be defending these actions. This is your town also, and you are likely to live, and you are likely to outlive me also in this town. I'll pass earlier than you. You will live in this town for more number of years than me. So I'm only pointing out.
Life of my
No, that's very kind of you. But the kind of town that सर वो तो गनीमत है, मैं भागीरथपुर में नहीं रहता, नहीं तो मैं भी होता ही नहीं आपके सामने ये सब निवेदन करने. मैं और कहीं रहता हूँ मेरे भाग्य से.
The only thing is,
तो ये सर क्यों आवश्यकता है इनकी? मैं वही जानना चाहता हूँ कि भाई
Nobody is adversarial.
नहीं नॉट एट ऑल सर. मैं तो
saying,
सिर्फ
my lord,
जी
Public interest.
जी
Even
तो मेरा सर निवेदन है कि कुछ तो कारण होगा कि जो आप इंसिस्ट कर रहे हैं साहब एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर में. अब आप बता रहे हैं साहब 6 किलोमीटर रोक लें. मैं प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी आपको बताता हूँ जो आप भी अनविसाज नहीं कर सकते. आई एम नॉट ब्लेमिंग देम. पीडब्ल्यूडी खुद तो काम नहीं करती, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के थ्रू काम करती है. कॉन्ट्रैक्टर वही है जो बीआरटीएस की रेलिंग हटाने वाले लोग हैं, उन जैसे लोग होंगे, उनसे इनके रोज सरकारी डिस्प्यूट होंगे, वो फिर विड्रॉ करेगा. वो एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर को जो ये 6 किलोमीटर बनाने की बात कर रहे हैं वो 2.5 से 3 साल तक नहीं बनेगा. ये सर ये जमीनी हकीकत है. आई एम सॉरी मुझे बोलना पड़ रहा है, बट हम अवेयर, आई एम बीन सेइंग इट फ्रॉम माय चाइल्डहुड इन दिस टाउन. सर एक 2019 का गोइंग बाय द सेम पिटीशन 2019 का आदेश है ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट का सर, वो पोस्टिंग ऑफ पुलिस पीपल इन द पीक आवर्स ऑफ द ट्रैफिक. मिस्टर आनंद इज हियर, लेट हिम मेक अ स्टेटमेंट क्रॉसिंग हिज हार्ट दैट दिस इज बीइंग डन लॉट फ्रॉम 2019. लेट हिम कम फॉरवर्ड एंड मेक दैट स्टेटमेंट. इसका कंप्लायंस है. आई विल गिव अप दैट रिलीफ. क्या पीक आवर्स में तो 6 साल 7 साल बाद हाई कोर्ट के आदेश के बाद ये हालत अगर शहर में है तो ये एलिवेटेड कॉरिडोर क्या तो बनेगा सर. और बनाते रहे. हमको प्रिंसिपली एज योर लॉर्डशिप लॉर्ड हैज बीन प्लीज्ड टू ऑब्जर्व, नॉट एट ऑल, वी आर नॉट अगेंस्ट एनी डेवलपमेंट, बट डोंट डू इट एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ द प्लानिंग ऑफ ट्रैफिक ऑफ द एंटायर टाउन. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सबमिटिंग लॉर्ड.
my lord, we, with all due respect, my lord, to Lanet area, my lord, we are not opposing, my lord. We ourselves are saying that we are removing the BRTS, my lord. The only thing which is my lord, that the patch of 6 kilometers only.
we are saying,
My lord,
to build the BRTS,
my lord.
was your decision. To remove it, it was your decision. Only what the coordinate bench headed by the then Chief Justice passed an order that once you have taken decision, remove it within this time. Then when it was not implemented, we took up this matter. So it's a very clear that it's not the decision of the court to remove the BRTS. So BRTS, we know that sometimes it's very useful. It's a correct, that's as I'm worried about in the case of emergency. Now ambulance, on the last date also I asked Mr. Verma and Mr. Sithe, in such situation, find out somewhere.
For that, my lord, we have planned, my lord, that a separate demarcation would be there, my lord, a temporary demarcation.
There are so many towns like Delhi, etc. There is no BRTS, but they must be having something that in the case of emergency, how to get the what is called the green corridor.
Green corridor.
That is called.
Green corridor.
It's our only concern is that with these issues. So what I want that correcting, because they are the experts.
Yes.
Engineers, because your officers, what the engineers are expert, but at the top level, let them take a decision that simultaneously this traffic problem is also solved, and whatever your projects of elevated corridor, because we can't afford this removal of BRTS barriers only because you are going to just with this your
Elevated corridor.
corridors. Think very rightly, it's find out, discuss it with
Sir,
Yes.
सर इसमें एक एडिशनल पॉइंट सर ऐड करना चाहूंगा। एक लास्ट टाइम आपने ऑर्डर किया था कि जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जिसको
No,
बस स्टॉप रिमूवल करना है।
now you come to that.
Yes, sir.
Once we decide that work has to be carried out.
सर
Then
इनका सर जो पीडब्ल्यूडी का कहना है कि उन लोगों को जब भी जहाँ काम करेंगे वहाँ बैरिकेड तो करना पड़ेगा फॉर प्रोटेक्शन। सर हम ये कर सकते हैं कि पीडब्ल्यूडी जहाँ वर्क स्टार्ट करेगा वहाँ का छोड़ के बाकी एरियाज में हम डिसमेंटलिंग शुरू कर लेते हैं सर। और वहाँ सेंट्रल लाइन जो मीडियन विथ स्ट्रीट लाइट का जो हमारा सर टेंडर था, मतलब वी आर सीरियस अबाउट इट, और मीडियन का हमारा टेंडर भी हो गया, एजेंसी नियुक्त हो गई। हम लोग फिर जैसे ही ये वाला है तो we can start
this.
Yes, sir.
Out 11.2, let us, what has been submitted before us. The total length of BRTS is about 11.2. Out of which 6 kilometer.
LIG to Nalaka.
Hmm?
LIG to Nalaka.
LIC to Navlakha.
This
That
6 kilometer
work cannot be carried out because of this elevated. And
proposed that before that and after
this
that.
proposed. First I want that your chief engineer is saying. The comment. Consider. Yes, please.
Madam.
First, I want us, after considering the arguments, let us take a decision whether under this situation, whether still the government is of the view of this elevated corridor or not, say, will be good. And if you are really interested for this, within what time you will implement it, and simultaneously how to get this movement free traffic without any hindrance.
Madam.
So many ways are there.
Drastically तो कर सकते हैं, कोई
But
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
it's a only question of the priority. If you take it priority of the public inconvenience, certainly you will find. So we are not saying that Mr. Chitish, continue with this dismantle work wherever you can remove, barring this. So in the meantime, we would like to get a response from the government with a meeting of these 2-3 departments. That, yes,
The contractor is present and got.
just Mr. Verma and Mr. Chitish. Just please, let us hear Mr. आप हैं
I'm not arguing on law, your lordship.
very clear.
Yes, your lordship.
There is an element of public accountability. We will not spare any, whether he is a private contractor or not.
I bow down to
There
that,
is a
your
word
lordship.
like public accountability. Any person is responsible for public accountability.
I bow down.
We are dealing with the interests of the public.
Yes, your lordship.
So he can't say that it's a contractual matter or something.
No,
So first we want to know his reasons, why he is backing off.
these are his reasons, your lordship. I have prepared this document on his behalf, your lordship.
सर अभी सर इनका मैं कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल प्रोविजन जो थे सर वो ये थे कि इनको रिमूव करके सर जो स्क्रैप था सर वो इनको बिल ऑफ करना था अपने स्तर पे।
जी जी
और स्क्रैप का जो एल्वेज वैल्यू होता है सर उस पे हम लोगों ने टेंडर आउट किया था। तो जो हाईएस्ट बिडर होता है जो कहता है कि मैं कुछ ज्यादा अमाउंट था उसको हमने अवार्ड
Yes.
किया था सर इस केस में।
It's like that, जैसे we give a contract for dismantle of other, it's like that.
तो सर इनके साथ इन्होंने इनको रेलिंग भी करना था सर और बस स्टॉप भी करना था ऑलरेडी सर, बट नाउ ही इज कंप्लीटली ऑफ द वर्क सर। तो ही इज ऑलरेडी, इनकी जो बैंक गारंटी हमारे पास है, परफॉर्मेंस गारंटी ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है अराउंड 7 लाख की हमारे पास है सर। बट ही इज स्टिल टू डिपॉजिट अराउंड 35 लाख रुपीज इन द म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन फॉर द स्क्रैप दैट ही हैज ऑलरेडी रिमूव्ड। So, but sir, he, as per the orders of the court, sir, I also met him 8 days back. We requested him to take up the work. He's not willing to take up the work. He's saying he's unable to do the work, sir. So, as you said, sir, in case the court agrees, sir, we would like to terminate and then issue a fresh.
Not only terminate, that is not the solution. Impose so much heavy cost on him
Sir,
that he has played with the public interest.
sir, we
With your lordship permission, that has not happened, your lordship.
Just
perfectly.
Because he is the victim, your lordship, in this case. It is my submission that he is the victim in this case. I have all the details. He is the victim, your lordship.
Him is the president of this now, taking a contract now saying कि हमको loss हो रहा है.
Your lordship contract में जो SOR proposed हुआ था वो the material is not in terms of the proposed value, your lordship, which is why
हर चीज
your
का
lordship the dismantling the survey can only be.
contract होगा as is where is पे
Yes, ma'am.
after inspection. So it's just
Yeah.
ask him, he has to take up this contract, otherwise we will settle him with heavy imposition of penalties here from here.
Your lordship, I'll seek those instructions, but if your lordship may kindly have this document for.
Negotiation
one
with the
second.
commissioner, he says, on the last date, he said, I will hold, they are also saying.
Your lordship, I also asked him that if he is willing to
Travel on
subcontract
this
it.
road. You must be realizing
I-
how
I-
difficult it is now to travel on the main road,
I-
etc.
I bow down on that, your lordship. The limited issue which he is facing, your lordship, is this, that he was supposed to make a pre-deposit and then sell one, your lordship, that material is already in the possession of IMC because he has been depositing that in the depot since he has not made the pre-deposit.
मुझे ये बता दीजिए आप बात क्या क्या चाहते हैं
Yes.
ये नहीं कह सकते
The issue is not जो मैंने सोचा था. The issue is, your lordship, with the tender, an SOR, a schedule of rates was given that 3.68 crores worth of material will be available with you once the contract is done. But
such a situation, it's not that they are helpless. They will terminate, they will impose penalty, etc. on him in accordance with the law. But what would happen? It would delay the project.
I bow down to that, your lordship.
Other projects in the town, your building,
Your
where
lordship,
you are going to sit in the future,
I'm
going to appear in the future. That
I'm
project is delayed on the building. Only because that contractor backed out, new contractor had come, and now everything is delayed.
Your lordship, the issue is that the SOR is not accurate, your lordship, which is why his own survey failed, your lordship. जहाँ पे 12 टन माल निकलना था वहाँ पे 8 टन माल निकल रहा है, तो फिर your lordship survey अगर करते, and the assessment of the value of that metal was taken at 45 rupees per kg in the SOR, which is
Just wait one time. What is the name of the firm?
this is Dinesh Yadav firm, your lordship, proprietorship firm.
They are from Madhya Pradesh or from other
They're from
Madhya Pradesh. He's a citizen of India and also of Madhya Pradesh.
yes, your lordship.
Only money cut. I'm not saying that he's a contractor. That aspect is relevant. All will be considered and decided. But why he has stopped the work?
I'll submit, your lordship, why he stopped the work. Your lordship, there are two aspects of it. One, what he said that his investors, your lordship, backed out, which is why he was not in a position to make any pre-deposits as required under the contract. So, your lordship, in view of the urgency, in view of the timelines of this honorable court, he continued to work, your lordship. As on date, he has invested 17 lakh of his own funds, your lordship. He has literally even sold some family gold for this. And that 17 lakh, approximately, he's invested from his own pocket. He's not getting any labor charges because his salvation would come from the scrap value.
You are representative.
Yes, your lordship.
You are not in position to now carry out the contract. He is very clear about this.
He is not in a position to carry out the contract because one, he has no funds. Secondly, he has already invested more than his capacity, and there is no way out for salvaging his income.
इनका कितना डिपॉजिट है?
सर हमारे पास तो परफॉर्मेंस वो तो हम सर जो आपने कहा सर वो परफॉर्मेंस गारंटी वी कैन फोरफिट जो रिमेनिंग अमाउंट है सर वो हम रिकवरी का जो क्लॉज है उसके सर आई वुड लाइक टू करेक्ट
And the issue that I am currently facing,
ठीक है मुझे
your lordship, I'll submit, your lordship. I'll submit. I have the documents with me, your lordship. I'll submit in a nutshell what has happened.
We will hear you. Just
I'll just
let him
submit.
make
Your lordship, since I did not have a pre-deposit and there were strict timelines, what an arrangement, oral arrangement was carried out, your lordship, where I would carry out the dismantling work.
Only we can protect him in a situation. We will solve all this by. But if he has manpowers and everything,
He has the manpower, your lordship. The issue, one of the
when you
issues,
see these bus stops on the road, it's so dangerous now with these over barricades. They have put in just temporary some signals, etc. But any accident can happen. Please,
your lordship, I'll confer with the client if any dialogue can happen, but I'll submit for this lordship the two major issues that I'm facing, your lordship.
etc. That can be just. After all, what he will do?
Absolutely
He will
nothing.
solve at the level of that.
I
Indulgence from the highest level of the government, etc.
bow down to that, your lordship. I bow down to
Ask
that.
him if he can start. Otherwise, we will direct formalities.
Your lordship,
According to your statement,
There are
that he's not in position.
the limited background I'm providing is this, your lordship, that when he was not in a position to make a pre-deposit, he still continued with the work, which he was not allowed to do, but ideally he was not supposed to do, but because of the timelines, he invested his own money in labor and he completed the work of the one side of the railing for the entire 11.5 kilometers. That he has done from his own pocket. Now, what has happened is the arrangement, I'll show your lordship the letter. The arrangement was that whatever is being salvaged from the site is being directly deposited in the Azar Nagar depot of the Nigam.
He may be having his problem of the corporation, etc.
Your lordship, the material is kept on the road for last 45 days. The corporation is not taking that into the depot. That is the issue. For last 45 days, he's paid more than 80,000 worth of rupees in night duty guards and day guards.
As per the contract, it is who has to carry out this because it depends on the conditions of the contract.
Yes, your lordship.
This
तो प्री डिपॉजिट के बिना काम हमने अलाउ किया है सर नॉट द अदर वे अराउंड बिकॉज आइडियली
So
ही
this
वाज
is
सपोज्ड
all to decide your.
Contractual disputes. I bow down to that, your lordship.
We are only concerned. Ask him.
Yes, your
If
lordship.
he is not, because what we feel, he must be having machines. He must be having a manpower.
Yes, sir.
Because he had very low salary. So if you ask the government to resolve this matter, ask him within what time if he is ready. Otherwise, we will take strict action against. Because what we feel, basically we are not accepting this. This is not as per the SOR. When you enter into the contract, then it is with the open eyes, as is there is.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Please, you are a legal expert.
Aye.
Advise him what would be the consequence. I have told you what is my scope of interference or passing is
Yes.
public accountability. I will not leave anyone on this ground that public accountability. That's a public interest. So discuss with him, ask him, otherwise it can't be delayed. Because what we are permitting them to not to stop this present work, this work should continue demolition or dismantle of this bus stop, etc. So let him advise him properly. It's a, so far other monetary part is concerned, that can be sorted out. It was whose duty or
Your Lordship, but then some dialogue would be required with the authorities, even if things are being sorted out, because it would require amendment.
not more than that.
Your Lordship, may kindly allow me to take 5 minutes to just take instructions, 2 minutes.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes, Mr.
our suggestion was that the stage of 6 years, the back part should be, the divider should be erected by the PWD.
Yes.
Because the entire road will be under the control of PWD during that period. So the IMC and PWD both will work together. Therefore, this work of central divider should be given to the PWD. That must be carried out by them. Then only it can be done. And till the permanent construction not done, till then it has to be, so temporary arrangement has to be finished. That is 7 days the work can start. This is what we have been given to understand.
As soon as this contract is terminated, if the court allows, we can go for tender and have multiple agencies work on dismantling. This time we will be short tender, we will have empanelment of.
Because it empowers us to recover as a land revenue also, not only from forfeiting. 24 ka sub clause 3 update.
This all will, the problem is that always these conditions are in the contract.
It will delay.
But it's a practical issue. So many things. It's not the.
I am thinking only so that these things can be speed up, my lord, so that we can have a dialogue with him that if you.
He will face consequences. He
Only
perhaps
for that.
A dialogue can be held between the authorities, and so he will,
no difficult.
because what he's submitting is, Your Lordship, that there are some issues which he may have worked in, Your Lordship, with open eyes, but those issues were not at the forefront at the time, they were not assessed.
Mr. Commissioner Corporation is the competent authority. That's what he says on instructions. So there is no difficulty in so far that, but not more than 3 days. We may take it on Friday again, just to know about this. If he is not, then take up all actions in accordance with the law. That would be as per the jurisdiction.
Small thing here.
Try with a positive attitude. Our object is that this work should not delay. So if you can sort out that with him, otherwise then we will permit to take action and for short-term tender, etc.
Oh.
But so far the removal of barriers on one side.
It is completed.
That problem is not solved.
Yes.
Because bus stops are there. It can't be completely used by putting demarcation.
तो थोड़ा सा डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी भी लगता है, क्योंकि एक साइड तो आदमी को आने वाले को 2/3 रोड मिलती है और जाने वाले को 1/3 मिलती है.
2 kilometers के आस.
Should we keep it on Monday or Friday?
पिछली तारीख पे कुछ लिखा था ये देख.
Project of elevated, that if the elevated corridor project is to be implemented, the same may take minimum 2 years. It is to be implemented. The same may take minimum 2 years. In that event, we ask the engineers as well as the officers present in the court that what can be the solution regarding the problem of traffic movement because of the removal of barricades on BRTS. So they said that because removal of barriers of BRTS corridor had already taken place on one side as directed by this court, but for the other side, unless the elevated corridor project is submitted to them and it is worked out, unless the same is decided, then same the removal of the other side would not be possible. And under this situation, we consider it appropriate, ask the Chief Secretary of the State of Madhya Pradesh to convene a meeting of Principal Secretary Urban Administration and Development and also Principal Secretary PWD problem of the public next Tuesday, to be 27th, on 27th. In regard to the is such a portion, the construction of central divider and lighting will be carried out. Which agency? By corporation itself.
Sir, we have contracted it out.
It will be carried out by the agency hired by the corporation. Full stop. Okay. In view of the portion, it is directed that the corporation will start immediately the construction of the divider with and lighting in respect of the 3.1 kilometer, which is not required at present under the said project immediately. The Sri Yadav, contractor, represented by Sri, is that this is public interest litigation and everybody has public accountability. Yes, first off, he, after undergoing consent for the pitch, the contractor submitted that on instructions he submitted that contractor is willing to have another meeting with the Commissioner Corporation and his representatives. First off, the Sri Kshitij Commissioner directed that the corporation will start immediately the construction of the divider with and lighting in respect of the 3.1 kilometer, which is not required at present under the said project immediately. Full stop. Okay. The Sri Yadav, contractor, represented by Sri, is that this is public interest litigation and everybody has public accountability in such a matter. After undergoing consent for the pitch, the contractor submitted that on instructions he submitted that contractor is willing to have another meeting with the Commissioner Corporation and his representatives. So as to list on 28th January 2028.